Ruth, I don't think we've met, and Harry as well, but I'm Adam. I'll be chairing today and chairing the panel for Sarah's PhD. So welcome along, Sarah. The purpose of this meeting today is a pre-CoC, so it's an opportunity for you to really tell us a little bit about your scope, your topic, and to sort of hear what you've done so far and how you're going. I will start the meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather. For us here, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. The way that the meeting will run, we'll ask Sarah to give a short presentation. I will note that's not a compulsory part of the process, but it is something that we as a group and a number of PhD students are encouraged to do. So Sarah will give a short presentation. Now Ruth, I was just explaining as you came in, we've got Ella in the room as well, who's one of our other PhD students. For Sarah's personal use, we're going to record her doing her presentation, so she's got a version of that. That will be the presentation component only. We are also, with everyone's permission, going to record the presentation and the discussion immediately after that, so the Q&A type section, so that we've got that as a record for Sarah to have accurate recordings of. We will end the recording at the end of that when we have the other parts of the process. So Sarah will give a presentation. The panel members, Harry, Melissa and myself, will then have the opportunity to ask some questions and have a discussion around the topic. We will then ask Sarah to leave the room and have a chat with the supervisors. We will then ask the supervisors to leave and for Sarah to come back in, have a chat with the candidate. We'll then ask everyone back, the panel, to leave. And we'll do this all in a magical way of texting and Teams messaging and everything else. So, and at the end of the session, we'll have everyone back in and have a chat about the outcome. So, unless there's anything else, I did skip some introductions. So I think Melissa, you probably haven't met many here. So we've got Amanda and Emma, and who are supervisors based at Swinburne, and Ruth, who's a supervisor based at Monash University, and Harry, who's based in exercise science as the external, and Melissa's with us in the School of or Management and Marketing department within the School of Business, Law and Entrepreneurship here. Okay. I think that's everything. Emma, could I ask you just to click the record button for the purpose of the Teams recording? Thank you. I'll ask you to share the screen. Sorry, I'll share the screen and then I'll hand this to you.
Sure. This is very well organized.
Oh,
yes.
There's a few layers to this now, but yeah, let's see. So that's...
This is so nice too. I just feel like you can come and sit back.
I'll let you scroll up
It's
to
okay.
when you need to start. Whenever you're ready, am I not in the way?
No, you're fine.
Excellent.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sarah Karlik, and the proposed title for my PhD project is an investigation into the lived experiences of import female soccer players in Australia. I'd also like to acknowledge my supervisors, Emma, Amanda, and Ruth. I know Adam already covered this, but I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people and their elders past, present, and emerging, who are the traditional owners of the land on which Swinburne's Australian campuses are located. Oh, here's a picture. How do I make it stop? Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right. It's going to present everything. Sorry, everybody, for mine it's a little bit different, but I wanted to break this part of the presentation up by introducing myself as a player and myself as a person. So, Sarah Karlik, the person. I earned my Bachelor of Arts degree in English with a concentration in creative writing from the University of Mary Washington in the US, and my master's degree in leadership from the University of Jamestown, also in the US. While earning my master's degree, I was the assistant women's soccer coach at the University of Jamestown. And as part of my master's degree, I was required to complete a research project. My research project examined the barriers and challenges that women, it wants to go through the whole PowerPoint, sorry everybody.
Sorry, I'm just trying to put that.
Okay, as part of my master's degree, I was required to complete a research project. My research project examined the barriers and challenges that women face while coaching women's soccer teams and how these barriers and challenges impacted their capacity to lead. My research project has recently been published in Soccer and Society. As a player, I've lived and played professional soccer in 4 different countries, including Australia, and I've also played in 8 different states in the US. I've led the young female soccer players on my teams, mentored them on and off the field, and observed how important it is for young girls to have positive women role models. As my career as an international soccer player is coming to an end, I realize that I have a lot to offer the next generation of female soccer players. As an emerging female leader, researcher, and coach, my goal is to make a significant and positive difference in women's soccer in Australia. Okay. Drawing on my own experiences as an international soccer player and discussions with other female players, I become interested in the challenges import players like myself face upon entering a foreign country to play soccer. While the level of support varies from club to club and country to country, it's been my lived experience from playing in Brisbane and Melbourne that Australian women's soccer teams and institutions have not been held to a high standard, supporting and successfully integrating import players into Australian teams and culture. With this PhD, I acknowledge that this isn't just my story that I'm telling. I like to note that the photos are purposefully blurred in order to protect the players' identities. If I may, I would like to share the story of one of the players I wrote about in my report. Player 1 summarizes the experiences of both players 2 and 3 whose stories I documented in my report, but for time purposes, I would just like to share player 1's experience. As a reminder, player 1 played soccer in Australia nearly a decade ago, yet the challenges she identified playing in Australia are relevant and are supported by the experiences of players 2 and 3. If you could please turn your volumes up on your computers, I'd like to play an audio clip of what she had to say. This will work better.
My experience in Australia, I would never, ever accept it now. We had to do everything on our own. We had to find our own housing on our own. Again, they would have given us host family, but beyond that, there was no support. We got bank accounts on our own. Like, we just did everything by ourselves. And looking back, the experience as a whole was wonderful, but my experience as an international player was, not great.
The stories these players shared are not unique. These players and many other import female soccer players, some of whom I have the privilege to call my friends, are my motivation for this research project. So what do we know about this topic? The literature on male athlete labor migration, particularly men's soccer, has been well documented. However, this is not the case for female soccer players. There is scant literature investigating and documenting the lived experiences of import female soccer players. Therefore, the proposed research project will specifically focus on 1, Australia, 2, women, and 3, soccer. From the initial research, I've formulated 3 research questions. What are the lived experiences of import female soccer players? What is the scale and scope of institutional support provided to import soccer players? And 3, what policy framework can institutions implement to assist import female soccer players in Australia? Ooh. The objective it wants to do it again.
Yeah, if you keep it in that view.
Keep it in that view, that's fine, thanks.
Sorry, everyone. Good, okay. The objective of my project is to create a policy framework for clubs and institutions to implement in order to integrate import female soccer players. I propose 2 phases in this project. Phase 1 is interviews of import female soccer players in an online survey for players. I anticipate approximately 100 responses. And data will be collected at 4 different time points: prior to arrival, 2 weeks after arrival, and 6 weeks after arrival. Phase 2 will be surveys of coaches and institutions. I would anticipate approximately 50 responses. The focus for the next 9 months is to complete introduction, literature review, and methods, complete grant application for FIFA scholarship, complete draft ethics application, and complete 2 elective units. Thank you for your time and for bearing with me while I manage technical difficulties. I welcome any questions and suggestions to my proposed project.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'll just get you to stop sharing that one.